Well, didn't want to leave you too far behind. So, I didn't put, I don't know if you can see that, I very, very gently laid higher values off into the sky doing this kind of thing. It'll probably need more, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. We're worried about the main event right now. On these rooftops, I've been using yellow ochre, a hint of burnt sienna in places, ultramarine blue. So our yellow ochre and our ultramarine blue goes for the green, and then the burnt sienna warms up that green. And quite a bit of white, you know. I want that sunlight to really jump on this top area. I want this to pop, and I think it's doing that. And then on our reds that are in the shade, now, okay, this looks like there's a hard shadow on there. It's not going to be. I'm going to gradually darken it. So, you know, we have a little bit more shade on the left-hand side of the grain elevator. Sort of indicates something's blocking the sun a little bit. Probably from behind us, there is just some cloud cover, and you get that kind of thing. Anyway, doesn't matter. That's always open to interpretation. The fact is, for the sake of the painting, I want the strength to be around here. Well, all over the place here, but sort of heading down in this direction. And then I'm going to jump in here with some pretty bright colors as well. This line is almost dead center of the painting. I'm not worried about that in the least, because by the time we have everything painted and we come down with our intensity and it's splayed out like the bottom of a wedding dress on the bottom here, light being caught in various areas and shade left in the shade in other areas, that's not gonna be bothersome to have that line there. I know it's a rule breaker. Well, when have I ever cared about the rules? I think I've mentioned a bunch of times that if you follow the rules, you'll end up with a successful painting. Well, provided you can paint. But if you break the rules and still manage to end up with a successful painting, now you're doing something right. Oops. The purple under here is still a little bit wet, so it's not grabbing the color as much as I would like it to in quite the same way, but we'll live with it. Couple of signs attached to the crib wall here. We call this the crib, which is actually the bin. This from here down is a bin that holds grain. There's one on the other side as well. I say we call this the crib because I used to work on a crew for Manitoba Pool grain elevators. So I have I know exactly how they work. And yeah, I spent 3 years with them. Doing renovations on older ones and building new ones. That was a really interesting job, actually. I enjoyed it. But then I've always kind of liked building things, so there you have it, right? Lego as a child. One of the best toys over. One of the best toys ever. Before they got into making, you know, Star Wars Lego and all that stuff where your imagination is no longer used. When the Lego I played with, it was just square blocks. Yeah, you could get windows and you could get Lego electric motors to build your trains with and train wheels. Didn't go much beyond that though. Mostly what I had were flats and square blocks, so you could use your imagination. It was mother approved, I can tell you that much. Kind of nice to be able to lay in a couple of strong strokes after playing. Okay, I don't want that to be too strong because I really want to I want to lower the temperature of this as we move off to our left. How's that? Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yeah, so all this stuff in the foreground, or no, what am I talking about? I should be talking about the oranges. Starting on the left-hand side here, I used yellow ochre, a hint of alizarin crimson, and some cad red medium. Just sort of from here that way, and from here that way. Then I left the cad or the alizarin crimson alone, and instead of alizarin crimson, I put in some cad red medium and yellow ochre. Then, just for a couple of strokes, then I came over to the right, same as here, and then I'm going to cad yellow pale and cad red medium, and a hint of white here and there. And then as we got into the most intense area, I've used cad red medium, cad yellow pale, and just simply cadmium orange, and a hint of white here and there. Not a lot of white actually in all the cadmiums that I've used here in the oranges. Not a lot of white. So, and as we work our way down to the left here, we're going to be adding a bit of. We're gonna get away from the oranges. We're gonna go back more towards the cad red medium. Add hints of ultramarine blue to go into our purples. First sort of dirty oranges, then it cleans up and becomes purple. As we get right down here, I may even just use cobalt blue and cad red medium and a hint of white, just to cool the temperature, take the temperature down a notch, you know, but stay within the reds. We don't want to go too blue. We want it, you know, to still remain within the same family of colors, but we want it very distinctly to be in the shadow. So very soft lines graduating from warm, direct sunlight here down towards the cooler colors on the lower left. Then here as well, we will have one hard line of shadow as the sun strikes, you know, the top of the grain elevator, casts a shadow across the drive-through area, and we'll we'll be bringing up the temperature here, 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 and down this side as well, because the sun hits it again. But in here, we're going to be using some of the colors that we have here, here and here, you know, in the shadow. These are signs, warning signs, safety signs, all that sort of thing. You always saw them on grain elevators because as people in their trucks, the farmers bringing the grain to the grain elevator for the sake of safety, you know, for liability reasons, those signs had to be hanging there. You know, no smoking, all, you know, wear a hard hat, blah, 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 blah. Are you using certain types of fertilizers, you know, or some are maybe advertising? I'm not sure, but I do remember they're always, and they worked really well to break up things. So I thought I'd include some of those signs there. These, you know, this would be a manhole cover. That'd be a window. That'd be a piece of tin. Some patchwork. It's not painted yet. They're just holes so far, you know? What? D hole, C-E-A, well that could be an A-hole, but let's not worry about that right now. So we're going to move to purple. Anyway, I just thought I'd catch you up pretty quickly and show you what's up. I'm really liking this. I always like this type of painting. It's so dramatic and nice warm colors. Okay guys, see you soon.